If the goal of assessment is to enable a student to complete a task without the intervention of a teacher, this means the student is going to work independently. The teacher is not going to intervene. And then, while the student is working independently, the assessment for learning will be done by the teacher. So there is no input of the teacher in this case, and it is being assessed that how the student, when he is working independently, is learning. If he is learning independently, he must be given more chances to work independently. If he needs some support during this process and some part of the task he can do independently, whereas some part he needs some sort of a support, then it should be done according to that. If he is totally confused and nervous while doing a task independently, he should be relieved of that pressure and the teacher's support must be given. So the level of independence could be different in different students. It will also differ according to their ages. Sometimes secondary school students are more independent than the primary ones, but there are chances where we come across students in the primary school also who are very independent in their work. So this type of a characteristic and ability also needs to be catered to and observed by the teacher. So whatever is the level, if the student can work independently, then he should be given more opportunities to work independently. In case the teacher finds whatever level is there, whether it is secondary or primary, that the student needs support and cannot work independently, then he should be given help and support by the teacher. So, if the student is working independently, then some form of scaffolding should apply to the assessment processes. So that means a different type of assessment process should go and should be in place for students who can work independently. By scaffolding means look at the steps that should be taken in order to help such a student or encourage such a student who can work independently. So the scaffolding stages would be like challenges given to the student who can work without an intervention, and the assessment that the teacher is doing for learning of such a student has to be scaffolded. It has to be in stages in order to observe what is the level and where is the student needing help, or is it so that he is not at all needing any kind of a help. This scaffolding will help the teacher also to assess the individual student or the individual department, and there should be an approach which explicitly concerns itself with those moments when a teacher's intervention is not required or required. So it is a bit of a tricky thing to do. There is scaffolding there, there are stages there, there is help there, there is support there. But again, the teacher has to assess for learning the individual or the department, whether this department or whether this individual can work on independently, and that scaffolding is not needed. Whereas if that scaffolding is needed somewhere at any stage, that means that help should be offered at that particular time where the teacher's intervention is important, and where it is not required, then it should not be there to intervene and to disturb the process of the growth of the department or the student if they are able to work independently. Because unnecessary intervention can also be a reason to stop and discourage people from working. It has been noticed that in certain institutions, the employees are discouraged to go further and therefore that independent learning does not take place because that particular institution does not believe in growth and creativity, and therefore they try to snub and stop any further development. In that case, the results will be quite negative because the intervention from the organization or from the teacher or from some head would discourage people to use their abilities independently. At the same time, it has also been noticed that some departments or students, when doing independent work, need some sort of a scaffolding, some sort of support, and they are not provided that, for which they have to face a failure.